We're about to do another trip report.
Michael's TikTok got deleted this morning because he said something true.
I know, they fucking deleted my TikTok because... Yeah. But today we're about to make a trip report. We have just got 2 packages. One looks like this. I'm unboxing the package and what's inside. Wait for it. And then we have the other package. It says Copal, which is not Copal. And for those of you who don't know, DMT stands for dimethyltryptamine, and this is 5MeO DMT, which is a toad called Bufo alvarius. You can Google it and then you see the toad there. You basically put the toad's venom right in this thing here, then you sing. And it takes you to another dimension or whatever you want to call it. And it teaches you things that you normally couldn't consciously understand. And then you boom, and you have it. And from that point on, your life is never the same again. But before we go into Bufo, we're gonna set intention, and we're gonna... I don't know if you can see, but we have some happy here, and we're gonna sit with happy first, and we're gonna set an intention of what we're gonna go in with, so we know what we're gonna get out of it in the end. So first, a little bit of happy, and then Bufo. A little bit more there, somewhere. And then I always do this, kind of like ding, 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 ding. Set an intention, you ask for something, and then this is not the Bufo. I'm asking, what more can I get out of this? Give me clarity. This is actually the first time we are going into this when we are not in pain. Emotionally, or not physically, but emotionally.
I think that's how the tribes used to use the plants, is if they had a problem, if they needed to know where to hunt.
Yeah.
They would use the plants, and then the plants would tell them where to hunt, or the plants would tell them what seeds to plant.
Yeah.
So we're going reverse.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing this process where we value the other's needs even higher than our own, because we recognize that will actually fulfill our needs.
Yeah, so when I can fulfill her needs and she fulfill my needs, it's a win-win.
Show me what I need to see for Michael to experience freedom and love.
Show me what I need to see for Mariana to experience freedom and love. Yeah?
Yeah.
So I
like it.
We want freedom and love.
Freedom in love.
Freedom in love. Let's go with that.
Okay.
Great. Back soon. We're going outside for mine. Just did Mariana, but I want to do it at the dock. Holy shit. It's probably the wildest one. I'm gonna explain something here. Okay, I'm zooming in on the clouds. It's like all the freedom has always been there, but we can't really see it. And the fractals you see in the Bufo is basically like the clouds, and it's all in front of our eyes, but we just can't. It's not unlocked, so we can't see the freedom. Now the intention was the freedom in, unless you have watch the clouds. Watch it, still carefully how they move. All the freedom is always there, but it's we have records in our mind, the clouds, the freedom, so we can't experience it until we seen it and unlock it. And I guess, I don't know, there's no other way than Bufo I found, but If you look how they move. Also, they said it's like you can only be shown what you're capable of seeing. So I see the clouds as like these fractals, but you just see this as clouds probably, because it's not unlocked inside of you. You haven't had the realization. But then the same with like freedom. You only experience freedom to the degree you're willing to see it, and that's with everything. Your mind only shows you when you have unlocked the level of that what you want to see. So you're only seeing what you actually want to see, or you're subconsciously programmed to see. Isn't that fucking deep? Wow, this is mental. We're gonna go inside and we're gonna continue the. It's a bit windy here. Let's go inside and I'll tell you exactly the rest. This was crazy.
This is our trip report. And the intention was, what do I need? Show me what I need to see for Michael to create or have freedom in love. The Bufo showed me it was about how we've been in this whole thing where we wanted to be on a team with our parents, and then we've been trying to build a team together, but neither one of us really knew how to create a team because our parents didn't want to be our teammates. So we've not been very equipped to be on a team, basically. And it showed me how I had this debt with kindness because I went to school in Scotland, and when I went to school in Scotland, we were hunting all the time, and we were hunting deer. And actually I have these like antlers from a deer. Part of what I was doing was healing this whole relationship with kindness because my parents were both quite mean growing up, and because their parents were mean to them. Or the medicine of deer is kindness and gentleness. Like, they have these big doe eyes, and they're not like a predatory animal. They're gentle, kind animals. Into hunting the deer because I wanted to eat the deer, because I wanted to ingest that kindness and I wanted to receive it. But basically what happened is that it created this debt. So it showed me how everything you take from the earth, there's a debt that's created. So it explained how, because I had killed all of these deer and eaten them, and then I was still lugging around this dead deer's antlers, there was like this imbalance with kindness. So I couldn't really create kindness in my life. Like, I ingested it all, but I was in debt, and so I couldn't really receive it. It told me that I needed to bury, or actually put into the lagoon, these antlers, because what the relationship needs is a lot of gentleness and kindness, which is impossible to cultivate if you have this like tormented relationship with kindness or with deer, which actually involves a lot of brutality, which is what hunting is. Then it showed me how, like, everything that, because Michael loses energy for things, so sometimes we'll make plans, joint plans, and he thinks something's a good idea. We invest a bunch of energy into it, and then he just completely loses steam for it. It showed me how he will never understand how deeply I feel because I have a womb. I will never understand what it's like being him because he's a man, and he has this like protective radar that's built in, that's beyond the mind. So he doesn't even understand it himself because it's beyond the realm of logic. It's even beyond the realm of words. But how everything that he loses steam for us is actually this biological attempt to protect us. And it's going off of this like very primal, like caveman instinct that doesn't make any sense. And so it showed me that the things that he's lost steam for, it's because for whatever reason, it's literally not safe for us to do them right now. Then it showed me how, because it's kind of felt like since we met, we nuked my whole life. When we met, I had a retreats project and it had been going and it had been going well. And I had an Airbnb, which I was starting to feel suffocated by, and it was where I ran the retreats out of and all of this. And it showed me how the reason why we nuked all of that is because the masculine creates inside of the feminine, kind of the way that it's like the sperm goes into the womb and then a baby is born there. But it showed me that all things are born there, and that the reason why we had been nuking all of these things, which was really kind of your guidance, even though
Yeah.
I was complicit. I don't feel victimized by it. Like I was complicit with it. I was right there with nuking them. But in a lot of ways, it was your idea or your impetus. We were actually just making a bunch of space for this new thing that we're giving birth to. And so that's why it was like this big like removal of all of these things, because it was taking up space. And it's like he's been trying to remove all of these things to make it a new womb for him to give birth through me to whatever it is that he's giving birth to, or that we are giving birth to. And then it showed me how this really didn't make any sense, but it told me verbatim, word for word, he's teaching you to see with your hands instead of your eyes. And I had no idea what that meant. And then it was like right when I was having these realizations, he started rubbing like these different parts of my back, which you don't really do very often. And it was like he had this laser beam and he was just going like right for these places that had all of this trapped pain and like really old. It felt like it was like lifetimes old from before this life. And he was kind of excavating all of this pain. So that was really interesting because it was just very like direct, and it just started happening in real time. And it explained to me how we've had all of this confusion around creation, and we've been in this ongoing reflection about how we grew up in families where our moms were occupying the masculine space and then our dads were occupying the feminine space. We've been in this attempt to reverse that, and for me to be in my feminine core and for him to be in his masculine core. But we also had all of these ideas around it, and they were very like kind of a hierarchical ideas or rigid in a way, even though it may appear to the naked eye that what we create is unrelated, in the same way that it appears that the lungs are unrelated to the liver, that it's all part of one system and that every part feeds the other part. Like one part needs the other part, and that part needs the first part. It's actually very important to both be creating because we are cross pollinating and feeding one another's creations and creating a lot of momentum that way. And that's how 1+1 = 3. For example, I'm a manifester, so I have to go do things and I have to go pursue things and initiate things, and things just manifest when I set the intention for them to. But he's a Manny Gen, so he has to wait for an invitation or he has to have something to respond to. So it showed me how it's actually very important that I stay in this creation state, because it creates a lot of movement and it creates life, and it actually gives him things to respond to. You had been accidentally trying to keep me caged because you had been kept caged.
Yeah.
It wasn't like out of a bad place or anything. And it was also comfortable for me because I grew up caged. It's a co-creation. That's the thing. When you enter in a relationship, everything becomes a co-creation. You're both really creating it. It's not just one person's creation. It showed me how this is a really important process because you set me free.
Mm.
And by setting me free, you've set yourself free.
Mm. That sounds good.
Yeah. Which I think is why, since we started having this conversation last night, you felt like really light.
That's really, I was like, huh, now I can do more videos with you. It's all like the video, this thing and this thing is the exact same, like, relationship thing. Like, if I can't do it here, I can't do it here. I can't do it with you.
Yeah, and it's funny because now I feel like being with you.
Oh, you want to be with me?
Like in the videos, I mean.
Oh, in the video. Okay, yes.
But I don't feel like directing them anymore.
Okay, I do that. I do that.
Yeah, which is what you wanted.
Yeah. I would say this probably the most profound ever. Like, I've done a lot of, like, I had a death once recently, and I had a lot of, like, but this was, it was like you see all of these fractals and you go into there and then you don't know where you are and I'm completely gone. You're somewhere else in another universe or whatever. And then basically told me that you don't have to know how everything is gonna flow and how everything is gonna land into your life. Like, you don't need to know those things. And I had these moments where I spit and I think I moved my body, and she said that I kind of like did this lotus thing, and then it taught me that we've been basically, the mind can't show us or give us in this reality, this matrix system. It can't really give us until we kind of like unlocked the level of like freedom. If you want money and you don't have that basically unlocked in your mind, you can't get physically like attracting money. And it comes to, like, I'm just saying it as an example, but like anything in your life. So if you want freedom within a relationship, which is freedom in yourself, if you haven't like unlocked that, you are never going to be able to create it, because it's basically just like your program, your mind can not give that to this reality. Like, it cannot like show you it. Not you can't manifest it. It can't be created, and therefore you will play out of a recording that is something else. And in our case, it's been some sort of like we've been caged and stuck, and like we wanted to be a team, but we didn't know how to do it, and like it has to be a hierarchy. I have to do, and like I'm gonna tell you, or like whatever that is that our parent did to us. And I saw the clouds, and the clouds were like almost like fractals, and basically like what you experience in the trip is like what you experience in life. And it's been all there, like the clouds were like moving in a strange way. I was like, it's always there. Like, you can't see things until you unlock them in your mind. Like, you can't be shown these stuff. Your eyes cannot see it. And that's where I kind of like, and then the rain came over me, and something like, oh, you need to cover yourself. You need to cover yourself. And like, no, you actually don't need to cover anything of yourself. It's full expression. But we are taught to cover ourselves when it rains, or when you say things, or like how you look or how you behave. You should cover up. You shouldn't show those part of you. And that's where you kind of like start to cage yourself, because you think you need to cover up something of you, and that's completely bullshit. It's not true. That's what the system wants to have you believe. The only thing we need to cover up, if for not to break, is like electronic things that is man-made. Yeah, my camera here, this one, ding ding ding, will not function if I put it out in the rain. But the physical body it's not the same. Now you are free, and what you want for her is what you want for you. And when you are experiencing that like freedom or when you allow that freedom for someone else, then all of a sudden you allow the freedom for yourself. And also, like, he also told me, like, you can do this, like, either you go with your parents and you sort these out with your things with your parents, or you get a partner and you sort these things out. And most likely a partner would be a person that you can sort all of this stuff out. So, like, if you want to manifest something and it's not on your record in your mind because you have another record of something, it's like trying to play. She said it before, like trying to play a DVD on a VHS, for example. It's just not gonna work. And also I laid down and I was like spitting and I was spitting, and I thought that like the spitting was a point of like expression, and I thought that I expressed in different ways, then I would get it back on me. Like if I just express myself in different ways, I would get something bad back, because that's what used to happen. But expressing is a part of freedom. When we express, that's where the freedom is. And I tried to spit on myself, because it told me like, yeah, try to have it land on yourself. And it was windy, and I was like, however I spit, it didn't work. It just flew everywhere. And like, now you're free to express in whatever way that you actually like, and there's no need to care for how it's gonna land in with other people, because that's what the mind used to be like thinking about. Okay, thank you for watching our trip report. I hope it was fun, and I hope you learned something. Make sure you go and subscribe and comment if there's something you're wondering about, and we see you in the next trip report.